Ah, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. What a blood-sucking, rancid, horrible waste of time, money, and attention.
Superhero movies are gradually being more and more watered down into predictable 2-hour-long advertisements for other movies that are also going to be 2-hour-long advertisements.
Numbingly predictable. It was just plot, punching, plot.
Villains feel as though they have been written as cliched evil beings, and instead of having some sort of power over the superhero in question, they also feel as though they are just simply a roadblock.
Can you sing anything from a Marvel movie?
The fact that these movies are like the epicenter of movieism and the epicenter of like where these young actors, these 22-year-old actors, like you have to be in one of those movies to sort of get to that bit. It's fucking bullshit, man.
Marvel fanboys just need to really wise up and really see what they're getting here, because they're not really getting the whole picture and they're not getting good movies.
So the Marvel Universe, the MCU, that's the one everyone says is good, right? Or whatever.
Because everyone already knows how I feel about this shitty, unrestrained, cash-sucking studio of absolute shit, but nobody really seems to understand why.
The lack of any dramatic tension makes each new release more and more boring and predictable for me. I'll certainly enjoy sitting around in the theater waiting to see Spider-Man jump on the screen, like he did in the trailer. That was a neat surprise that would have been much better to see in the movie. I can't wait to see the scene that ends with the Silver Iron Man getting hurt. It's going to be so tense knowing that he's going to get shot out of the sky. It's really going to make me question what's going to happen next when I'm watching that scene unfold. But what about knowing that all these actors have multi-picture contracts for endless sequels, meaning I never have to fear for their characters because I know they're going to be fine no matter what.
Any creative choice that's made in these has consequences, monetary consequences. I'm sure they're all concerned that, does Iron Man only work because of Robert Downey Jr.?
Yeah.
And if we kill Robert Downey Jr. as Iron Man, we're killing the opportunity to make billions of dollars. So that's when what should be, but of course, again, we're realistically talking about big blockbuster movies that they exist to make money. What you think should be a creative decision comes down to money. We can't kill these characters because we want the money that they make for us. So when they have a big fight in an airport, we have to, if we're going to have consequences, we better be very careful.
Audiences need to be respected. It's cool when our favourite character comes back to life once. That should be emotional and uplifting. But when Agent Coulson comes back after being stabbed through the heart in the Avengers, or Loki is resurrected not once but twice in the dual Thor films, it's super frustrating. And to add another to the list, how about Nick Fury faking his death in The Winter Soldier, a film largely praised for its espionage style, but also one that fails to deliver on a layered plot due to this fake death. The reason this also frustrates is that if Marvel ever do kill off a major character, who in the audience is actually going to believe that? We'll have to sit through weeks of exclusive news reports of Kevin Feige having to verbally confirm the death of the character. It completely disconnects the audience from the forced emotional core of the film.
It's not just that these films are bad. They are. But the biggest problem is that they're also lorded over by an unrestrained whore giant of a studio that continues to shill them out.
They're taking that shit seriously, and they're like, this is the performance of a lifetime. This ain't the performance of a lifetime. This is a fucking superhero movie.
Heath Ledger would disagree. Heath Ledger would disagree.
I was gonna reference that. He kicked ass in that shit. But how many of these films have been made since that Heath Ledger film? Like
a whole lot.
2008.
Not even Batman, just the
30,
whole.
probably 30.
Okay, so we could go to the one performance out of 30 where you're like, yeah, he tore that shit up.
The Dark Knight is a very well made, very well written movie. It has characters and great dialogue, a story that is comprehensible, interesting themes and conflicts, it grips you emotionally, and has action that is so well filmed that it kind of leaves you floored at times. The MCU is so light-hearted and goofy that I find it hard to get invested in anything. I feel like the good movies in the Fox universe are more even in that respect. Also Magneto. His character alone is more interesting than just about anyone in the other superhero universes.
Being in one of these movies is like being in The Godfather now. There is no Godfather. So to get a part in that and to get, your paycheck in it and hopefully have your name on the poster is a good career move. The days of a great true movie star who's a great true actor who puts his blood and guts in the film, done. It's done.
Superhero movies are gradually being more and more watered down into predictable 2-hour-long advertisements for other movies that are also going to be 2-hour-long advertisements.
Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3.
One eternity later.
Phase 75, 76, 77. You get my point. This structure of phases leaves a lot to be desired. Just because you can answer a film's question in the following installment, that doesn't mean you can ignore them in their current film. And while the obvious intention by Marvel is to keep every story on the same path and timeline, what actually happens is that every film within that phase follows the same pattern. In that same pattern resides the issue, genuine fatigue. In Phase 1 we had these films, origin films, all with one unifying goal, to set up the Avengers. Now that wasn't an issue, since we needed to connect with and learn about these characters. The issue arrives when the Avengers concludes and Phase 2 begins. This here is Phase 2, an entire slate that, bar Guardians of the Galaxy and Ant-Man, operates as a way of showing the growing contrivances between certain superheroes. And because every film works with the same themes and ideas, we essentially end up with a cluster of tiring, similar films.
Think about films now getting to the point where references are not to other films. They're to trailers for future films or to comic book rumors on blogs about future films. Like, that's not storytelling. That's marketing. That's pure marketing.
Oh, of course it is. We had this discussion about these movies are made to make money. They're
right, but what I'm saying is that that's an example of how incorporating a character that will appear in another film is purely fan service and purely pandering because it's adding absolutely nothing. And to even understand it just requires, to have the knowledge that, oh, that person was cast in that role, which I don't understand what that's adding. It just sucks that, these expectations have been put upon these movies where you can't just tell a simple story anymore. It has to set things up for future movies. It has to carry over things from other movies, and it can't be just a small character-driven action film.
All this shit, all this cinematic universe bullshit in every fucking film, these are not Easter eggs. These are not even fucking trailers as I once deemed them. This is product placement for their own fucking products.
Stylistically, the MCU is very flat and bland to me. I'm pretty sure that it's actually a conscious decision so that all the movies feel like they're in the same universe, but it often leads to the films themselves lacking in any character or expression, apart from the literal babble and jokes that are coming out of the actors' mouths. Like, they're really bland and they hardly experiment at all. Every one of them fits into this established mold and format that admittedly is safe and works.
I agree that there are zero consequences. Like, throughout this entire movie, it feels like everybody is indestructible because they essentially are indestructible. So that's a problem.
Villains feel as though they have been written as cliched evil beings, and instead of having some sort of power over the superhero in question, they also feel as though they are just simply a roadblock. They exist merely to allow the superhero to give the illusion of struggle before ultimately obliterating said villain with ease. This is true of all the one-shot villains such as Malekith, the Yellow Jacket, Ronan the Accuser, Abomination, the list goes on. These villains don't feel threatening in any way. A villain is supposed to feel equal to the hero in some facet of their clash, whether it be strength or intelligence. Also, you fucking did it again with Dormammu and Caecilius in Doctor Strange. It's outright frustrating that the same audiences are not taken seriously with these products. While that is of course due to the money these films make, I mean, why care about the complaining when people keep buying tickets to see your film? But it's still concerning that most of these films do genuinely feel like wasted potential.
And I respect all the actors and all the directors that are in them, and God bless them, and Robert Downey Jr. and Favreau and all. They should make money and be successful to do whatever the fuck they want, and I would love to be in any of those movies. But I can't tell you the difference between a fucking Iron Man and a Spider-Man. Every 5 weeks they're getting a new Spider-Man, and this one, I have an actor friend of mine who had to go through the rigmarole of potentially being Spider-Man. I was like, they're making you audition for this shit? They're fucking making you audition to play, like, you're either the guy or you ain't the fucking guy. It's so ultra serious, and there's testing, and it's like, get the fuck out of here. You could put they could take an unknown person off the street who's never acted before, who has no experience, no fan base, no Twitter page, no Instagram, no followers, no anything. All you gotta do is put them in the movie. Spider-Man is selling the movie.
For me, it's a matter of if the movie making and storytelling is good. Not, wow, the Hulk punched Iron Man. Isn't that neat? That's so fucking vapid and boring after 5 seconds.
Way too, like all of these movies, way too bloated. for what you're getting. And it just was the rhythm of it was just too numbingly predictable. It was just plot, punching, plot, punching. And after a while, it just wore me down. And visually, it's like the other films, very televisual. It doesn't look like you're watching a movie. It looks like you're watching a big budget, extended, TV series.
The fact that these movies are like the epicenter of movieism and the epicenter of like where these young actors, these 22-year-old actors, like you have to be in one of those movies to sort of get to that bit. It's fucking bullshit, man. It's fucking bullshit.
How many of these 5 movies are actually entertaining enough to want to watch multiple times? Like, how many of these would you say are genuinely great movies that stand by themselves? Like, don't get me wrong, they're all fine movies, they each have their moments, but they're so forgettable and few and far between. Like, who sits down and thinks to themselves, I know, let's watch Thor? What even happened in that movie? I don't know. Then you got like Iron Man 2, which is this weirdly paced, confusing mess with no focus. Well, it does have a focus, it's to set up the Avengers. Setting up the Avengers was more important than making your movie a fun, self-contained experience that leaves you satisfied. And don't tell me to excuse it because they do this shit in the comics. You can still set up future elements as well as having a well-rounded, satisfying movie that can stand on its own. It's about the balance. And I'm afraid Iron Man 2 was the moment that decided the future for superhero movies. Over and over again, we've seen this trend. Thanks to the Avengers making so much money, now every studio is floundering to build up their own superhero universe. The predictable, cynical business attitude from these studios that are more interested in creating products than art makes me not want to even bother to invest my time in them anymore.
This is pretentious and self-indulgent. Like, these movies don't need to be this long. It doesn't need to be this packed with this many plot threads, this many characters. This is not artful, it doesn't have heart, and it doesn't make statements. It's just long, plot-driven, action-driven, and that's it.
But if you have another movie, Marvel is good about working around it. They're very respectful of your life, really.
Really?
Really. Snap by yourself, Tom Holland appearing as Spidey in 6 movies for Marvel and Sony.
This fucking kid should just be like, I'm fucking happy to be here. I'll do whatever they tell me, when they tell me, and I'm happy to be playing Spider-Man. They're really respectful about your life.
Let me ask you a
Your
question.
life is playing Spider-Man from here forward, kid. That's it. That's fucking it. Oh, they're really happy to let you get the fuck out of here. You should be happy that you're playing Spider-Man in the next 9 movies. Okay, my man, that's it. Be happy.
The problem with character development in movies like this, reviewing a movie like this, is that the majority of it is just gone. Because you just, for me, I sit with it. They're talking about things I don't remember from a billion other movies that I don't remember. And I don't care. So I'm just waiting for anything
I don't care.
Anything that's funny or fun to watch, visually interesting. Like there's just too much. There's too much going on, and there's too many references to too many other movies. And for the hardcore Marvel fans, they might enjoy that because they can connect those threads. But if you're not just completely in it and willing to let that, to just dig right into that, it's just mush. You don't know what half of these people are talking about. There's these fucking gems that are going to lead to something, and by the time it leads to something, I'm going to not be able to remember what the fuck they have to do with anything.
These movies end up feeling like homework. Before seeing The Avengers 2, I watched Thor 2 out of complete obligation because I figured that you needed to understand all of the Phase 2 movies before topping it all off with The Avengers. I was wrong. It just wound up being a movie about space elves or some shit. I was tricked. I didn't need to see that shit. And then to make things even more confusing, in the credits of Thor 2, there's this weird tease for Guardians of the Galaxy. It's a complete tonal shift and feels shoved in and forced. The Marvel stingers tend to have a knack for that. Realistically, how long can these superhero movies continue to flourish? There has to be a point where audiences are going to get fed up of it, right?
While a studio with any sanity or restraint at all might announce a film about 2 years ahead of time, Marvel has announced a slew of new films that are set to be released between now and 2019. 2019! Marvel will throw names casually onto a giant production assembly line and just hope they have an idea for a good film when they fucking get around to it. Who does that? Who makes movies like that?
The unanimous critical acclaim that this movie is getting is crazy to me. It is absolutely crazy. It's like a 94. Every person I talk to, like, when did critics
But
like,
if you
stop
look at the
challenging
average
things.
score, it's like 75.
No, I did that. No,
something.
I did that too. And there was like tons of 4 out of 5, 4.5 out of 5. And I just don't know how a film critic could do that. Like, people destroy Batman versus Superman. Just are chomping at the bit to tear that thing apart. And then this one, it's like, oh, it's fun. They get everyone on screen and stuff. I don't see the difference.
These movies are being praised, or at the very least, refrained from being rightly criticized for reasons other than how good the movie is. You now can make the biggest piece of shit imaginable, and people will still like it so long as you connect it to this fucking universe. In fact, I firmly believe that if the Fantastic Four movies or the Daredevil movie was released today, exactly as they are, except worked into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, every Marvel fan would love them. Because when you judge them as movies, of course they're terrible, but when you judge them by whether or not they expand the universe, they can do no wrong.
Also, what happens to superhero scores? The Marvel Universe in particular has really awful music. Like, why don't you go ahead and hum me the Thor theme, will you? Okay, how about the Hulk theme? Captain America? Hawkeye? I know every single character doesn't need to have their own theme necessarily, but anything will be better than the cookie cutter forgettable garbage they use currently.
Could you sing any music from Star Wars?
How
about James Bond? Can you sing anything from a Marvel movie?
I'm like the biggest Marvel fan that I know of. I can't think of any of the songs. One of those.
No.
No.
I should know this, but I don't.
Shit.
I didn't even know they had, like, theme songs.
The music is used very predictably, so that what you see is what you get. If you see something funny, you hear funny music. If you see something sad, you hear a high note on the strings. This is a really safe way to score a film, because all of the emotions are expected. Nowadays, a lot of filmmakers feel that music should not be noticed.
That's a contemporary thing that I've heard very frequently. It's not supposed to be noticed.
Right.
But why is it not supposed to be noticed? I grew up on Alfred Hitchcock's films, Bernard Herrmann, and I noticed every note.
Today, blockbuster movie scores are composed through a particular process. And that process starts with one controversial element.
Danny, you groaned earlier when someone mentioned temp music.
Temp music is when you're editing a film and you take music from another movie and use it temporarily in your cut. Far more pervasive effect is that now, most blockbusters are temped with each other's scores. So they kind of sound like each other, but just within legal limits. And all of the choices you see in Marvel films, the background noise, hearing what you see, adding a narrator, temp music, all of these stem from the same desire, to keep things safe. This is not bad music, it's just bland and inoffensive. And because Marvel sacrifices emotional richness for these safe choices, the end result is this. So what is missing from Marvel music? Risk. The kind of risk that creates an emotional connection with the audience, so that they carry the music with them. People do not remember safe choices.
Like most actors, my real job is saving the world. Start with plain water, add bubbles, mix in the perfect flavor. Look, a soda that's better for you and all of us. Less sugar, less bottles. If only I could make this message go viral.
You doing it, Scarlett. Yeah, you doing it. Changing the world, one sip at a time.
Sorry, Coke and Pepsi.
Oh yeah, she done it. SodaStream.
Guardians of the Galaxy was written and directed by James Gunn, an award-winning director and the writer of such cinematic masterpieces as Scooby-Doo, Scooby-Doo 2: Monsters Unleashed, and by award-winning director, I mean he won not one, but 2 Razzie Awards for Worst Director and Worst Screenplay. 2 Razzie Awards! This is what Marvel Studios considers talent. Whenever anyone defends this studio, defends these films, defends Marvel as being anything but a shitty cash-sucking scam of a film studio, just infer that I have responded with a mere 3 words. 2 Razzie Awards. That's all I have to say from now until the end of time. 2 Razzie Awards. Marvel Studios was so keen to work with a failed writer and director while at the same time letting a genius like Edgar Wright walk. Is the reason that is because they know that Gunn would be easy to control? Because they know he wouldn't give them any trouble, and while he's a shitty writer and director who will probably make their movie bad, he at least wouldn't have the clout to defy them? The conjectural answer to that conjectural question is, of course it fucking is! Hey guys, I got a great idea going for Iron Man 2. We're gonna have a story where Tony faces death, looks back on his life, questions his own legacy, and thinks about what he's leaving behind. Oh, yeah, that's whatever you were talking about for you, but, listen here, Jim. John. Whatever. We're making the Avengers in a few years, so whatever else you do with your little movie, we also need you to shoehorn in the eye patch guy, the redhead woman, that bored guy, and make constant reference to the fact that the Avengers is coming up. Well, that doesn't really fit with the movie that I wrote. Fuck your movie. I'm sorry, what? Come in here real close. Fuck your movie. This is a commercial now. We've got shit to sell. I don't care if any of this doesn't fit. I don't care if this turns out bad. Everyone is gonna pay to see this no matter what we do. Now get your ass in the director's chair and shill our shit, you bitch. Favreau felt that the movie was rushed into production, and if you followed the development process, you know it was, and they pushed him into making it without a fully realized script. What bothers me about this to this day is that they didn't even hide this. They didn't even feel like they had to be evasive about this and said, you're all stupid. So what if we hijacked Favreau's movie and made you all sit through an Avengers commercial when you thought you were going to see Iron Man 2? You'll still see our movies anyway. You know you will, you fucks.
This is the problem with comic book movies. And, I mean, they kind of bring it upon themselves to a degree. Within the boundaries of the runtime of this film is what should be critically analyzed. But, you know, and I agree with that. I think we should just be talking about what the film is. But it's hard to do that when so many of these movies pull in so many references to things outside of the boundaries of that runtime. And it just opens itself up to being held against its source material, held against other movies within the universe, the cinematic universe it's building, held against its trailers, its marketing, blogs by movie writers, and held against the cinematic universes of other franchises that are competing with it. And it feels like it's impossible to review a film like this based on what the film is.
A studio that puts their bottom line and their brand recognition over and above the hard work and talent of the people who actually make their movies is one that does not deserve the trust of anyone. Fuck's sake, John, stop being Marvel's bitch. They fucked your movie. They fucked his movie. They fucked the audiences that paid to see that movie. Mickey has no problem calling Marvel out on their bullshit.
I'm not a Marvel fan.
You're not a Marvel fan?
No.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Are you a DC guy?
I don't know what that means.
Okay. You're not a comic book fan?
Yeah, I did a movie for Marvel, and they cut the whole thing out. And it was like,
I explained to the writer and to Jon Favreau that I wanted to bring some other layers and colors to the character, not just make this Russian a complete murderous, revenging bad guy. And they allowed me to do that. Unfortunately, the people at Marvel just wanted a one-dimensional bad guy, so most of the performance ended up on the floor. It's fucking too bad, but it's their loss. If they want to make mindless comic book movies, then I don't want to be a part of that. I don't want to have to care so much and work so hard and then fight them for intelligent reasoning. And just because they're calling the shots, I didn't work for 3 months on the accent and all the adjustments and go to Russia just so I could end up on the floor, because that can make somebody say at the end of the day, fuck 'em, I'm just gonna mail it in. But I'm not that kind of guy. I'm never going to mail it in. Mickey, you get it now, but you didn't get it then. They don't care if you mail it in. They do just want to make mindless comic book movies. One-dimensional characters is all they want. They don't give a shit how good any of these movies are. They know that whatever their fucking logo is on will sell. You have to fight for that, though, to bring layers to the character. Otherwise, if you're working for the wrong studio, or let's say a director that doesn't have any balls, then they're just gonna want it to be the evil bad guy. So if you're working with some good studio guys that got brains, and you're working with a director that has a set of nuts that'll let you incorporate that, then it's fun. Otherwise, you end up with what happened on Iron Man. Fucking thank you!
To me, I don't understand how Thor, all these Marvel movies, so let's, like Jay was doing, put it up against this. Let's take all these comic book movie tropes, ridiculous villain, insane motivations that don't make sense. All these things are equal, on equal playing ground in these two universes. How someone could watch those Thor movies versus this and say those are better, it makes no sense to me at all. Like, one is a movie. It feels like a movie. And they're both messy, but how whatever this movie tries to bring to the table is like, no, you've made it worse. You've ruined this recipe. But what Marvel brings to it, which is almost nothing, is always like, oh, great.
Well,
Marvel does it again.
The
Way
one
to
big
go.
thing
I don't understand it. It doesn't make any sense.
So you say, okay, all these movies against each other. Here are the problems I have with them, which levels out that section. Like, yes, plot problems, story problems, structural problems, canceled out. So what do we have next? Performances, cinematography, tone, all of that stuff. So if we're going to jump up to just pure style, this has a style. Like, the majority of the Marvel movies don't have a style. Their style is shot, reverse shot. That's it. Televisual.
I can appreciate what DC has done in some regards, in that they're accelerating the process rather than drawing it out for 20 movies. Okay, we did a Superman movie. Now our next big concept is, what if two big superheroes went head to head? Okay, next concept, what if villains were the heroes? Like, there's a bigger concept on display in each of these movies than just dedicating a movie to a hero so that they can be put into the next one. Having, this character's movie, this character's movie, this character's movie, this character's movie, unless those movies have something to say, which they might, but that has not been proven to me thus far.
This looks way more interesting to me than Civil War or any of the Marvel films. It's actually lit in a way that's cinematic. It's not just like high-key television lighting.
Marvel fanboys, I hate you. And, well, this just really draws from my Age of Ultron review. It really opened my eyes, I have to say. I didn't really care for Age of Ultron because I thought it was a boring movie. Just very two-dimensional characters that didn't pop off the screen to me. I'm not a fan of just worthless little, little club scenes, people sitting around making a bunch of retarded jokes about Thor's hammer. I'm not really a big fan of villains that, don't even really take themselves seriously.
The Marvel films are constantly destroying their moments by slapping silly humor into the drama. Comic book dialogue has always been quippy, sure, but to use that as an excuse is wrong, because comic book dialogue also knows when to show restraint and allow the moments to be simply that. Moments. This is an issue that began after Joss Whedon's The Avengers. It was the superhero film that finally awoke the world to the genre's existence. Whedon's penchant for comedy and meta humor was executed perfectly in this film. It genuinely was, but that shouldn't be an excuse for every single film that followed it to deploy the same style. I mean, look back at Iron Man 1 and 2. Tony Stark was witty and quippy, but it didn't dictate the core tone of the film. But once Iron Man 3 came out, coincidentally after The Avengers, Tony Stark felt completely different, as did the property of Iron Man. The tone became lopsided and the jokes tiresome. It didn't work there, and it didn't work in Captain America Civil War. That Spider-Man entrance was supposed to be the genuine homecoming of the character, yet the shout of "Underoos!" just felt cringy. That's an example of a moment being ruined by humor. It happens again in Civil War with this bit of dialogue.
Pointed south. I can't ignore it. Sometimes I wish I could. Sometimes I want to punch you in your perfect teeth.
Why does this serious political confrontation between two major superheroes have its serious atmosphere quashed by that line? It's totally disconnecting. And don't let fanboys tell you that you're just looking for a dark film whenever you take issues with the misplaced humor in the MCU. It's a legitimate issue and concern because there is a lack of balance.
Nobody even wanted to talk to me about these specifics. They rather, criticize me, saying that I'm wrong, failing to tell me exactly why I was wrong. Just wanted to really talk about that for a minute. Why I was wrong. No one was able to really challenge me on that. I thought that was really interesting. I thought it was really bizarre that nobody really had a great argument to bring to the table and to challenge me. I'm just not a big fan of movies that don't take themselves seriously. Now, I'm not saying it has to be an ultra serious movie. It's okay to have some jokes in it. But a movie that's just setting up the story and it doesn't really, it's not too concerned about being too good. And that was the thing that blew my mind. A lot of people were stating that not that, oh, fuck you, this movie is awesome. It's almost like they were admitting that the movie sucked. But they said, oh no, this is leading up to the Civil War. It's going to lead up to the whole shit with the Infinity Gems, the Infinity War, and all this other fucking garbage. And, I really started to look, and I was like, you know what? The Marvel fanboys know deep down that it sucks. They're just trying to put it in the way where it's like, oh no, it's okay. Even though that this movie wasn't the best, the movie 10 years from now, after they do Avengers 3 and all the other bullshit, that one's going to be awesome. That one all the way in the future is going to be great. And that's where I have to draw the line. Sorry, but I'm concerned about the movie right now. The movie that we're currently viewing. When I went to Age of Ultron, I paid fucking $15 to sit in front of a screen and be entertained. And I wasn't. So I'm not going to come before YouTube and everybody where, you're making a video and some people might see it based on your reaction. So I'm not going to say it was a fucking awesome movie just because it's set up for a future movie. No. Okay, so here you go. The first Star Wars movie, it's set up perfectly for Empire Strikes Back. But George Lucas put everything he had, all his resources, into that first movie. So the second movie, when it came, you were fucking pumped and you wanted to see that other one, right? Well, how come Age of Ultron isn't like that? How come the director, producer, and everybody working on the project doesn't have the same fire? Where's that fire? Where'd it go? Is it hiding somewhere? I don't know where it is, but they need to fucking find it. Because you can't just put out a piece of shit and say, oh, well, this piece of shit's gonna morph into gold in 10 years. So, you're just there, left staring at a big lump of shit right there, and you're supposed to just hope and pray in your heart of hearts and to the Marvel comic book gods that somehow that big lump of shit will turn into a fucking diamond one day. Yeah, so the thing is, the problem that I have with you Marvel fanboys is just that. And you're dissing 20th Century Fox and all that. But the thing is, 20th Century Fox, they have a more interesting plan. Now, Fantastic Four, get the fuck out of here. Talking about more about X-Men. I am more excited about what's going on with X-Men. Some people, yeah, they might want to sit there and they'll be like, all right, that wasn't the best, but, I'm just excited about the future. But, some of us, we live in the now. That's the thing. They say life is short. Well, it is. So, I want to see good movies now, not later. What is the whole point of this? We never used to think like this. Halo 1 is horrible, but I can't wait for Halo 5, okay? So you see there, it's all about what's good. We should like good things. We shouldn't like bad things that eventually will become good things. Marvel fanboys just need to really wise up and really see what they're getting here. Because they're not really getting the whole picture and they're not getting good movies. That's just the fact of the matter. The
cinematography, it's like very high key lighting. There's very little, I guess, dramatic lighting, which is fine because they're comic book movies. They're, I guess, going for a more colorful, well-lit, almost, I'll say a televisual look to the films. The direction is fairly featureless. It's a lot of just shot, reverse shot, very simple visual storytelling that I would think you would find on a lot of television.
I think, like, when you talk about televisual, though, is your main thing, like, are you thinking more like sitcom type stuff? Because, there's good stuff on TV
I'm
that
talking
is
about,
cinematic,
like,
right?
Law and Order SUV,
okay,
CSI,
but, like, you're not talking about
JAG,
like HBO, like stuff, like
no,
that kind of stuff. Like, I
Not
don't know if maybe that's where maybe some of the confusion is, because I think, I don't know, there's TV stuff that does look good, but I wonder if part of it is
also it's just the way the storytelling is. It's like all plot driven and feels like television, like it's just a lot of exposition, a lot of characters talking to each other. I don't feel like, Civil War, nothing outside of the airport fight stood out to me as being interesting visually. And the lighting, the cinematography is very digital. It's very bright. There's not a lot of depth. There's not a lot of shadows, contrast. It just doesn't look great to me. It looks very basic. It looks like television. It looks like network television drama.
I wonder
it's like
if
a lower
part
bar
of the,
episode of King of Queens. So, visually,
I don't know if this is the case, but I wonder if part of it is that it's almost for like a utilitarian reason, like because of a lot of CG being in these movies. If you have a lot of extreme lighting and shadows, and it's hard to match all that stuff on the CG, so they just kind of leave it looking very bland and brightly lit. So they can just throw stuff in there, and it all meshes.
Probably doesn't help that it's a lot of television directors directing these things.
Yeah, that's true.
Doesn't matter when you're paying for good reviews either.
Okay. Well, I hope that...
Like, okay, I would never expect this from a movie like Age of Ultron or Civil War or whatever, but look at Goodfellas, or look at There Will Be Blood, or look at Under the Skin, or look at 2001: A Space Odyssey, or look at,
the Dark Knight trilogy.
Sure. Or Inglourious Bastards, and think in those films, all of the moments that you would deem as being cinematic, whether it be for the actual composition or the cinematography, as in the lighting, the blocking, the when to hang on a shot, when to cut, when to move the camera or not move the camera, what effect all of those things has on the scene. The choice of There Will Be Blood being, dialogueless for the first 20 minutes. The visualization of the lair that Scarlett Johansson brings her victims back to and Under the Skin. All of these things that build some tension or atmosphere or mood or, or to feel like specific choices lingering on shots to create tension. Rarely do you find things like this in television, where there's, because you're so busy pushing the plot forward that all you're really doing is wide establisher, move in for the singles, shot, reverse shot, conversation happens, then, you're out of the scene. Establishing shot of this building, cut in, single of this person talking, shot, reverse shot, you're out of the scene. Rinse and repeat. You're not really doing anything that feels like it's planting some stylistic flag and creating a set piece that feels particularly daring or cinematic or like any sort of unique statement. It's very utilitarian. As you said, it's just, we are planting the camera down to capture the dialogue sequences so that we can establish all of the things we need to establish to push this plot forward and the plots of the next 3 movies and tie in the plots of the last 2. I rarely could think of, sequences in those films where it feels like, oh, that feels like a movie. These are things you are doing in these things because they're films. Like, there's a lot of, you can't, in television, you can't take time like that to set a mood or an atmosphere, or you can't have a first 20 minutes of dialogueless action just to create tension. So, watch The Hateful Eight and then watch Captain America Civil War, and that's the difference.
Yeah, that pretty much lays it out, I think. I don't totally agree that Suicide Squad belongs in the cinematic side of things, but I think Batman vs. Superman, there's definitely stuff in that movie. I would agree with you that there's effort made in terms of cinematography and the look and the tone and the atmosphere and all that kind of stuff. So
Marvel Studio likes to play it safe, doesn't take any risks, and just churns out the same shit over and over again. Making good films should not be a risk. It should be a studio's fucking mission statement. Rourke got fucked the same way Wright got fucked, the same way Favreau got fucked, the same way Norton got fucked. This was an actor who was fired from this studio in the most bullshit public display I have ever seen. In an official statement from Marvel, they said the following: "We have made the decision not to bring Ed Norton back to portray the title role of Bruce Banner in the Avengers. Our decision is definitely not one based on monetary factors, but instead rooted in the need for an actor who embodies the creativity and collaborative spirit of our other talented cast members. The Avengers demands players who will thrive working as part of an ensemble, as evidenced by Robert, Chris H., Chris E., Sam, Scarlett, and all of our talented casts." So I guess in addition to all the other grievances I've laid out here, we can add unprofessional to the list of fucking shit that Marvel pulled, because holy shit! The bullet points to this statement are as follows. Apparently, Edward Norton isn't as creative as the rest of the cast. Apparently, he can't work as part of an ensemble. And apparently, he wasn't passionate enough about the role. Unlike all the other actors who just added so much depth to their characters. Will someone please explain to me what is the quantifiable difference between the redhead character and the guy with the arrows character, aside from the genitals? Personally, I think that Norton was fired for the heinous crime of refusing to be Marvel's bitch. People who are constantly being alienated and fucked by this studio are the people who actually make art. And then there's James Gunn. 2 Razzie Awards! Remember way back when I reviewed Star Trek Into Darkness and said that the stupid Marvel movies were making movies worse, and everyone said that's bullshit, the Marvel movies are making things great, and then The Amazing Spider-Man 2 came out and it was overly complicated and shoehorned in things that didn't need to be there in order to establish a cinematic universe at the expense of the actual film, and then we heard that DC was fast-tracking a Justice League movie and sacrificing the new Superman film to the movie gods in order to do this, and everyone cried foul because so many movies are being gutted and strip-mined to make way for more cinematic universes, thus proving my claim that the stupid Marvel movies are making movies worse! Remember that?
You're wasting your life making shit! Nobody cares. These movies are terrible.